Hey everyone, welcome back to my next book preview video. This week we have the art of Immortals Fenyx Rising. So a quick look at the front and back. This one is quite difficult to fit in shot. Again, it's another quite large one. Okay, so let's get straight into this. For those of you that are not familiar with this one, this is another video game one. There is a quick look at the chapter section. Now, it doesn't really mean too much to me. I'm guessing these are actually sections of the game. And I haven't actually played this game, but I do own it. So I have it on PlayStation 5, I do believe. And I'm pretty sure that I pre-ordered this probably, well, it's been out for over a year now, and I still have it wrapped up because I do not get much time to play, unfortunately. So I don't know a huge amount about the game, but I do like these kind of mythical or Greek mythology and these sort of fantasy-esque armour designs that are mixed in. You guys that watch my videos know that I like to see sort of variations of helmets, armours, anything like that, especially weapons. I am seeing quite a lot of 3D models though, which there's nothing wrong with, but for me personally, I much prefer sort of hand-drawn, even if it's digitally drawn, painted, things like this. I much prefer that to sort of 3D renders. So these ones, for example, do say 3D models. They still look good, and I have no problem with them being in art books, but my personal preference is I'm more about the illustrations. So for example, this one would be more my kind of style, some of these. This one, not so much. I'd prefer that to be a little bit limited. And I'm pointing that out because I just had a flick through this before recording, and my overall impressions of this, to summarise, would be if you like Greek mythology and sort of landscapes and environments, like this one here, for example, is hand-painted, that's really cool. Personally, I'm not massive on landscapes, sceneries, environments, whatever you want to call them, in comparison with character design. This book seems to have a lot of materials and things like that throughout 3D renders, and the paintings that it does have, like this one, for example, they are very nice. Again, it's more sort of landscapes. They do have these illustrations that I pointed out sort of speckled throughout. But yeah, basically what I'm getting at is, for me, there isn't really enough actual artwork in terms of illustration and paintings, or at least not of the characters. It seems to consist too much of the 3D models. I would kind of say that's not a good thing, but I think realistically it's down to personal preference, and some of them that are in there like this are still really nicely painted. So a lot of you guys might strongly disagree with my opinion on that one. And then the artwork that is in here, there's these sort of tapestry-like drawings. I don't really know what else to call them. They're okay. They're quite stylized. Again, not my favourite if I'm being honest. But there is a section of this book towards the end that I much prefer, which goes a little bit into the armour designs. I think it went into the enemies, companions, things like that. So I guess creature design. I think that the idea behind this, the theme, the Greek mythology and fantasy kind of thing, I feel has quite a lot of potential in terms of artwork. So this page, for example, or these two pages, this to me would be more of an ideal art book. So if I had more of that consistently throughout, that would be pretty cool. And I know I'm skipping through it pretty quick, but there are a lot of 3D renders. But yeah, there are armour designs and creatures at the back, but it is a little bit limited. So whilst it's easily my favourite section, I do think there needs to be more of it. And even though I'm skipping through quite a few pages at once, I will try and include that end section I talked about. I don't want this video to be too long. Overall though, I will be completely honest and say I'm kind of disappointed with this one. I only really bought it because it was part of a bulk deal. So overall, I actually got it pretty cheap. I bought it alongside God of War. So for those of you that didn't check out last week's book preview video, that was God of War, check that out. I do have a few other video game art books as well. I can't really think off the top of my head. I've got the Assassin's Creed one for Valhalla, so a Viking type one. And I have Darksiders 3. I'll put a link in the description box below to some videos that I think you guys might like that are related. And also, just in general, if you enjoy art books, I have absolutely loads of them now. So check that playlist out as well. So I think this bit will be the section that I was talking about, the armours. These bits look more hand-painted and I really like these designs. They are very fantasy-esque, bright lights, that kind of thing. And I think from memory some of them might still be 3D models, but I cannot tell looking at some of them. Yes, so these ones here, for example, say 3D models, how the armour looks in game. I prefer illustrations, but I still think they're cool enough that I could use them for reference. Some of these designs are really cool. So yeah, I think this sort of brings it back a little bit, the different wing designs, the different armour designs, weapon designs. There is quite a lot of it actually. But to say how big this book is, only a small section of the book is dedicated to the armour designs, for example. Definitely quite a lot of weapon designs though. As I say, these are quite fantasy-esque in terms of a little bit out there, which I'm alright with, but I know not everyone is into, usually with the bright fancy colours and things. Some mounts and companions. Again, if you've played the game, that will probably mean a lot more to you than it does to me. And then a section on monsters and creatures. So if you haven't played this game yet and you're planning on, I don't know if this will spoil anything, so there's your warning. I still would like to play this game. I feel like it's got quite a Zelda style to it in terms of the artwork and even the gameplay of it, for those of you that have played that. So we're getting to the end now, but for me to summarise it, in my personal opinion, the book itself is actually pretty disappointing in terms of the content. It's quite a well-made book, but there isn't actually that much illustration and painting work other than sceneries. There is a lot packed in terms of, content like this. Little items, in-game graphics, that kind of thing, but for me, I'm not really interested in that kind of thing. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one though, so if you've got this book already or you're considering buying it and you found this video, let me know what you think to it. Or if you want to recommend any other art books, do let me know. Aside from that, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out a lot. Hit that thumbs up button and of course switch notifications on for future content. Thanks so much for watching everyone.